Oh, how's it going? Welcome to the first video on the I'm Your Daddy channel. If you've not listened to the I'm Your Daddy podcast, go do that. And yeah, I wanted to start off the channel by kind of introducing myself in a way and showing my credentials because you're like, hey, why would I listen to this guy talk about being a parent? He could be a shitty parent. And you know what? By someone else's standards, I might be. Because I feel like that's subjective. Like, how can you have a doctor on who's a good fucking parent? Like, I have a degree in parenting, and what did you learn? Like, don't punch your child in the face and leave him locked in a room. Okay, good. No, but let's get onto the topic of today's video. I have 4 kids. At one time, I had 4 kids under 5 years old. Now, time happens and they've gotten a bit older. But what have I learned through having 4 toddlers? And I made a nice little list. And first on the list, I don't think it's in order of importance, but definitely an important one for our household specifically is be silly. You know, silliness enables your kid to do anything, because if they feel like they can be goofy and silly and just dance around making faces, just be a kid, then that allows them to be less anxious when they're put in certain social interactions. If somebody's uptight and they got a stick so far up their ass it hurts to sit down, then when someone confronts them and they're very high energy and like just ADHD to the max, then they may not be able to know how to compute that, and it can make it harder. But if they got a little bit of a silly side, then that enables them to just go with the flow, kind of, and you don't have to be the silliest parent out there. You can be kind of, you know, lackadaisical, I guess is the word. But just if your kid's being silly, allow that. Don't be like, hey, why are you acting a fool in the middle of the store? They want to dance in the fucking store? I guess everybody's going to get a show because my daughter will fucking dance. And I just, there's so many good things that can help with being silly. It can help you make friends. That's a hard thing for parents to teach kids, because as parents, we kind of lose our friends. And I'm not going to touch on that too much, but it might be in another video. Let me know if you want me to talk about that. But just be silly, be goofy, let them be silly, let them be a kid. Now, moving on to number 2. I'm thinking about adding some pictures and stuff in here, so if I do and you like it, make sure you leave a like for the extra effort. And if you don't like it, then be like, hey, just talk, bro. Stop trying so hard. And I'll be glad to do that. Get dirty. Let them little fuckers go out in the mud, roll around, anytime I need them to be distracted and allow me to do what's next on the list, then I'm like, okay, what's something that I can do that lets them get dirty, or even something as simple as playing with water, like a bowl of water will keep their attention. But what is something I can do that lets them get that energy out, that get dirty and like just roll around energy out, while also not making a mess of the whole house? And something that we did recently for my wife's birthday that was really cool, for everybody really liked it, honestly. I mean, I went and, hand painting and all that, instead of just letting them dip their hands into the paint like a bunch of Neanderthals. I got the paintbrush and I painted their hand, and then they could place it, wherever they wanted to. And then I did their feet, laid out a big thing of paper, and they was able to walk on it, and it let them play with the paint, but me not have to worry about my 2-year-old just throwing it at the wall and shit. Like,
I missed.
Oh, hell no.
I was able to watch them and help them get dirty. And there's been times, it's been raining and I'm like, a nice light spring rain, and it's like, go outside and play in the rain, get muddy. And then they come back into the house and, they complete their mission and they get muddy. And then they don't have the sense to take stuff off before they come in the house because they're a fucking child, and they just run in the house and get mud everywhere. And then I'm like, why did I let this happen? What is my problem? What is your problem? And I get aggravated because then I have to clean it up. But I think in that instance, they will remember the playing in the mud and having fun. They're not going to worry about you getting a little upset and being like, oh man, now I have to clean you up and you have to take a bath. And I don't know. I know there's kids out there that hate baths, but my kids love baths. I mean, one of my daughters would take a bath 12 times a day if I would let her. She would stay in the bath, get all pruny, and she would not have a problem with it. So, anytime they get dirty, toss their little ass in the bath. If they hate the bath, then maybe make the bath more fun. I don't know. Maybe they don't have toys or bubbles or whatever. I don't know your kid. You know your kid. Figure it out. Okay, but how I said that the get dirty kind of leads into the next one. The next one is alone time. How you do that alone time, I don't really care. If you want to sit there and meditate and find inner peace, then go right ahead. Or if you want to just sit there and stare at a wall and review your life choices that have led you up to this point, then do that too. But it is so important to get that alone time, because I went a couple of months just watching the kids every day, watching the kids wake up, watch them. They go to sleep. I'm like, ah. Then I wake up and watch them again, and then just repeat. And you know how I felt? Depressed. And then I felt bad. I felt upset at myself for being depressed because they're my children and I should feel happy that I get to be around them all the time. And it made me feel like a bad parent for not appreciating the time that I had with them. And then a family friend was like, "Hey, can we take them for the weekend?" And they didn't take them all, but they took some of the load off, and lo and behold, I'm recharged. I miss my kids, and the camera keeps doing crazy things. So, I'm just going to let it do its thing. I think it's because I'm moving my hand around, but that's fine. Now that I'm focusing on moving my hand around, it's just going to stay there. Okay. But yeah, alone time. Me and my wife struggled with this so badly and still do sometimes. But if you're both at the house and one of you is just having a breakdown and every word out of your child's mouth, 1, 2, 12, I don't care, it's just sitting there gnawing at the final nerve that I finally understand having as a parent, then the other one, you got to step up. Like, I try, if my wife is having a hard time and I can visibly see that, I try to be like, hey, go meditate, go do your thing, 10 minutes, come back. We'll figure it out from there. And I'm not the best at communicating that, because that's another thing. We can talk about relationships another time, but communicating, hey, I want you to do this for yourself, and not, hey, you're being kind of a bitch right now, so why don't you go away from us? Those are two different things to say when immediately when like I mean the same thing. You know what I mean? I intend the same result, but it communicates two different ways. So yeah, alone time, world of help, do that, get it. And then the last one, the final finale. If you're still here in the video, thank you so much. Like, really, thank you. You watched over 10 minutes of me talking about this? Go you. Give yourself a little pat on the back. I hope you enjoy the video. Number 4, let them get hurt. I am honestly worse than I would like to say about watching them constantly and trying to keep them from getting hurt. But the more I try to keep them from getting hurt, you know what happens? I just get mad when they get hurt. And then they're hurt, I'm mad, and nobody's happy. So, I'm still working on accepting myself. They are going to get hurt. That's going to happen, but they're going to learn. And I had an easier time with it with my son than I do my daughters. Because my son, I would be cooking food and he would come over and try and touch the fucking stove or whatever, the hot part. And I'd say, no, that's hot. Don't touch that. And he would go, and I would say, no, don't touch that. It's hot. And then he would go, ah. And I was like, yep, see, I told you it's hot. And he learned his lesson. Now he'll walk up to me and be like, that's hot when I'm sitting there cooking. And I'm like, damn straight it is. You keep away from that, don't you? Yep. And walk away. Now, my daughter, she says, let me touch it. And I'm like, no, baby, you can't touch that. Let me touch it. No, baby, let me touch that. Let me touch it. No, baby, you can't touch that. And then she throws a fit because I won't let her touch the thing because I'm not letting her learn by herself. Hey, that thing is fucking hot. Okay? It's hot and I shouldn't touch it. But I don't know, maybe that's sexism to be like, my princesses shouldn't get hurt. Are you kidding me? But yeah, son, go jump off a cliff. I don't really care. You'll be fine. Shake it off. Whatever it is, I have to allow all of them the same right to learn. And through learning is failure. And sometimes failures comes with boo-boos. So all we can do is kiss the boo-boos, get them to shake it off, and keep going. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe. Goodbye.